Next, now here we will discuss about clearance volume in compressor, reciprocating compressor. In case of reciprocating compressor, if we see, the clearance is provided for two reasons. One is the piston one reason is this piston cannot go and hit this top dead center TDC, because it's not a practical design. It will lead to so many consequences. This part will get damaged, also this part, both will get damaged if it is allowed to go and hit this cylinder head. That's why there will be a small gap between the final position of the piston and the cylinder head. And also, in order to allow the valves to actuate, in case if the valves has to come out and go inside for opening and closing purpose, then if valve has to operate to and fro for opening and closing applications, in that case also we need to provide some space for the valves to operate in this region. So generally what we see here is compressor, or even in the IC engine we have seen that there will be a clearance region. So this is head, and we can say this is TDC, top dead center. This is the maximum position to which the piston can reach, but still here there is a free space. So what we see here is the gases present in this region. So this is the piston. So we can consider this as a piston. So this space is called clearance. So for these two reasons, clearance is provided. One is to allow the valves to operate in this region, so valves can open and close, and also to avoid damage of the piston by hitting the cylinder head. Generally 2 to 10% of clearance volume is given. So there is a term called clearance ratio, that is nothing but the ratio of this volume, clearance volume, to the swept volume. That means the total volume of this is swept volume. So from TDC to BDC, so this is the stroke length, this is stroke length. So this total volume is swept volume, this is the clearance volume. So take the ratio of smaller volume by larger volume, so we will get the clearance ratio. This is very important concept in case of compressors. Next we will discuss the effect of clearance volume. Effect of clearance volume. So because of the presence of clearance volume, what actually happens to the overall performance of the compressor? So the first effect what we can observe is this clearance space reduces the volume, total volume of air taken. So here there is a bundle of air which is stagnant in the sense this space is not useful for compression work. That's why the volume of air taken is less, because air is taken only till here to till this length to this length. So this space is not actually used for suction purpose, because only from TDC to BDC the work is done. This work is just useless work. That's why the volume of air taken is only this much. So hence volume of air taken is less, thereby volumetric efficiency is also less, because volume of air taken by its capacity is volumetric efficiency. If volume of air taken is less, then efficiency will also come down. Similarly, more power required. As I told, this air should also be compressed every time when the piston moves from BDC to TDC. So we cannot have any intermediate layer here to avoid the compression of this fluid. Even though we are providing this space for operation of valves, the air here will also get compressed. This compressed air will remain here only, it will not go to tank. That means the work done on this fluid is of no use. That is why we need to supply more power to drive the compressor. And also the maximum compression pressure of the compressor is also controlled by this clearance volume. So the maximum power is also controlled by the clearance volume. So these are some of the effects of clearance volume. Now we will derive the equation for indicated compression work. Work done for compression with clearance. This is indicated work. I can write this as IWD, indicated work done for compressor with clearance. So now we will discuss how indicated compression work with clearance is calculated. But first, very important thing is we should know how a clearance volume or a PV diagram with the clearance volume is understood. So without clearance, we all already know that the compression system will be almost like this. So there is no clearance. So we will write this as TDC and this as BDC, and what we see here is piston, and we assume the valves will operate without any problem, so there is not much space required. So all these errors what we have discussed, effect of clearance, that will be neglected. And so what we assume is this is also cylinder head. The same point is cylinder head, piston reaches till this point without clearance. This is one concept, and we know that a PV diagram for this case is PV diagram for this case is suction till BDC, compression PV power gamma is equal to C or any law, then delivery. So from 1 to 2 state. But in case of a case where the clearance is there in the compressor, at that point what we can do is we can have a space between cylinder head. This is cylinder head, and this is, we call this as TDC, and say this is BDC, and this is the head, cylinder head, and here we have the clearance space. This is the excess air which is not actually this air is not coming to the cylinder, or not cylinder, to the tank. This will not go out to the tank. This means not exactly these molecules, this volume of the fluid. Every time there is a chance that some part of this volume of this gases will remain in the chamber itself. So whether piston is here or piston reaches here, there will be some portion of the air which is left in this region. So this will not go out to the tank. So that means now what we can see is during compression stroke, piston moves from BDC to TDC. From here piston moves. That means we can see work is done on the fluid. So work is done on the fluid. So this fluid gets compressed, and during this compression process the volume of the air which is present here will all go out to the tank from the exit. So the volume of the air will all go to the tank from the exit. So what is remaining? Only this portion of air is remaining. So what it will do is, in the forward stroke, the piston gives the power or releases the work to the fluid. So fluid gets compressed. So when fluid gets compressed, the air molecules what is present here will get compressed and it will be at higher pressure. So work is done on the fluid in this case. But now in the second place, in the second stroke, that is when piston moves from TDC to BDC during suction stroke, that is during compression stroke, and this is during suction stroke. At that time already the fluid which is present here is at higher pressure. So what this high pressure fluid will do, it will apply force back onto the piston. So you can imagine the air which is present in the clearance space will apply force back onto the piston, and it will push. What it will do is it will push the cylinder backward. So this air which is present here will apply force on the piston, and that will push the piston backward because this is at high pressure. So what we can understand from this is W input is work what we are supplying to the piston, and we hopefully expect same work that gets transferred into the tank. This is what we expect. In reality, because of the presence of the pressurized air inside the clearance space, and which again does some work, that is return work on the piston, that is W what we call this as W expansion work. So we call this as expansion work. So during compression we have some work, W compression. After compression, the remaining gas in the clearance space will do some work on the piston, that we call it as W expansion. So here we have to understand what is the work that goes into the tank. So if we are supplying 100 kilowatt of energy, some part of the energy is returned back to us, say some 20 kilowatt in the process of expansion. So we have to know how much energy is actually going to the tank. That is why what we do is we take W is equal to W compression minus W expansion. This is what indicated work in case of compression with clearance. So the equation will be same, whatever we have already derived, that is n by n minus 1 n by n minus 1 into p1 v1 to the power p2 by p1 gamma n minus 1 by n into 1. The equation will be remaining same, work done equation, but we do small modification to get the actual work done equation. So that we will see in the next slide. So now we will see how a PV diagram is drawn. PV diagram for compressor with clearance. So we will write the piston and cylinder. So here is the piston, this is the piston, and this is the cylinder, and this space is clearance space, where this I will mark it as BDC and this I will mark it as TDC, top dead center and bottom dead center. This is the clearance space. Exactly for this figure, if we draw indicator diagram, then I will mark this position and this position, where this is pressure, this is volume. You can take this as unit pascals, and this is meter cube. And here very first suction takes place. Suction starts with pressure, normal pressure, it may be atmospheric also. So I'm going to draw the suction curve at some pressure point P1. Air gets taken in till the piston reaches BDC, air is taken in. This is suction stroke. Then after, when piston starts compressing, the curve goes up, and this is the compression curve. This curve should come till here. This curve reaches somewhere till here. So the compression takes place in the P per gamma is equal to C if we consider it as a polytropic process. And after reaching the compression point, the delivery starts till here. Then After delivery is over, the gases which are remaining at TDC will start expansion. So slowly the piston comes backward. Slowly the piston comes backwards. The journey starts from TDC to BDC. So expansion takes place, then volume of this fluid increases till 4. So from 1 to 2 compression takes place, then 2 to 3 there is a delivery, from 3 to 4 there is an expansion, and this space what is not marked here is the clearance region. After when piston reaches this point 4, the suction will be continued. So some work is done by this fluid on the piston to bring the piston till here. So the suction will takes place from this point to this point in the second and third strokes. So I will write this same diagram, very elaborate, and uh, with the complete details. I will redraw that same graph again here. So here we see the process P1, P2, and from 1 to 2 compression. It may be isothermal, adiabatic, or polytropic. Then 2 to 3 delivery. Then 3 again expansion. That means actual size of the piston cylinder is this much. This is the total size of the piston. This we call it as piston displacement volume. Piston displacement volume. And in reality, because the gases which are present in the clearance space will not allow any atmospheric air to enter the cylinder, we can only take air after expansion. So air can be taken only after expansion. That's why we have only this much of volume. This is effective swept volume. This is effective swept volume. So this whole volume we call it as total cylinder volume. So from here, this is total cylinder volume, and this space what we see here is V3. This is volume at position 3. V3 is equal to Vc. This is the clearance space. This is clearance volume. So now hope you have understood all the parts of an indicator diagram for a compressor which has a clearance. Next we will see how to get indicated work equation. So as I have already explained, there are two works involving. This is WC compression work, this is WE expansion work. So the net indicated work is equal to work during compression minus work during expansion. So work during compression, this we already know, n by n minus 1 into P1 V1 and P2 by P1 power n minus 1 by n. So this we already know, this equation, minus 1. The same way the work done equation for expansion process remains same, but this being positive, the expansion work will be negative. This is expansion index NE. I will write as NC compression, and this I will write as NE. So this remains same for all. So I can mark here, this follows say some PV power n compression is equal to constant. Let us say this follows a law, PV power n expansion is equal to constant. It's just a number that the process follows a law, and n e minus 1. So this into here, this is P4 V4 times P3 by P4 power n minus 1 by NE minus 1. So this is the work done for expansion process. Now P1 is equal to P4. So this 1 and 4 comes in the same line. So P1 is equal to P4, and also P3 is equal to P2, and also P3 is equal to P2. So what we get here is P3 by P4 is again equal to P2 by P1. Same, this P3 by P4 can be replaced by P2 by P1. That means pressure ratio remains same. So we will take that as common. Pressure ratio, we will take this as common, because this I am going to write it as P2 by P1. Then this whole term can be taken as constant and it will be taken out. And here one more thing what we have to remember is, in this equation we can take common if the index n being same for both compression process as well as for expansion process. That means the compression also follows the same value of n, expansion also follows the same value of n. There may be case where n is different for both, for compression and expansion, but for simplicity let us assume that NC is equal to NE. Then W can be written as W indicated work is equal to, for compressor with clearance, n by n minus 1 P1 into V1 minus V4 times P2 by P1 power n minus 1 by n minus 1. The equation is same, only difference is we are subtracting V4 minus V1 minus V4 instead of having V1, because we know that only this effective swept volume is the volume where we see the work done, and gases in that region will only go to the tank, So that's why we have the final equation with clearance. So we have seen how to draw a PV diagram or indicator diagram for a compressor with clearance, that is for single acting. So that is for single acting compressor. So that means, this is clearance, this is the piston. So only one side the compression is taking place. So this is a single acting cylinder. If in case double acting, then the work done on both the sides of the piston. That means, so here also compression takes place and here also compression takes place. In that case, we have to draw the PV diagram like this. So for single stage, first I will write for single stage, that is, so this is suction, then compression, then delivery, then expansion. So 1, 2, 3, and this is 4. Next, this is for single acting cylinder. For double acting, along with this, the suction is also taking place from this end. So from 1 also suction is taking place, I'd say from 1 to 5. So what I can write is the suction is also taking place in this direction. So I'll write the second phase of the compression, that is, this is suction, then compression. So when expansion is taking place from 3 to 4, behind the piston, the compression is also taking place. This is for the same pressure, so the pressure line is same. This both works with the same pressure. P1 and P2 remains same. Then after compression, it releases gases to the tank. Then after some time, expansion will take place. So after some time, expansion will takes place. The residual gases which are present here, so the residual, here also there will be a clearance space, here also there will be clearance space VC. So this piston rod comes out of the cylinder through proper coupling techniques. They will make airtight arrangements so that there will be very negligible leakages. With that concept, we will get an expansion curve. When the gases which are present here, that will get expanded to here, then the gases will be released to the tank. So here the gases will be released to the tank, then the expansion takes place to the second pressure, that is P1, back to the initial pressure condition. Then again suction stroke starts from here to here. This is actual suction, this is actual volume of the cylinder behind the piston. So I can name this process as till here it is 4, so I will write this as 5, 6, 7, this is 8. See, this is compression, this is compression, and the other one is expansion, and this is expansion. So in this both cases, PV power gamma is equal to C is applicable for all four curves, or each curve may be different. So depends on the design of the compressor. So another concept related to the indicator diagram is these are ideal cases what we have studied, and actual PV diagram or indicator diagram for compressor will have small fluctuations in the curve. So if we refer this curve, if this is a P2 and this is the suction pressure P1, then the actual compressor indicator diagram will be something like this. The suction takes place and there is a compression, and here is the expansion. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. So what is this points what I have marked here represents? What it does represent is during suction in the walls, during suction, so if this is the wall, some pressure, extra pressure should be provided for the walls to operate. That means for suction, for the suction of air, if the wall has to open, then instead of uh, operating the compressor at P1, there will be a small negative pressure or low pressure required to open the wall. So that means a small low pressure is seen for a momentary period of time, then after some time it will regain back to its original pressure, that is P1. It will come back to original pressure, but to start with, to initiate the valve opening, the compressor should go little more to a little more lower pressure, so that inside this chamber the valve or inside this chamber the pressure will be little lower than what suction pressure is preferred. At that time the valve will get opened. That means exactly at P1 valve might not open, so there is a necessity of extra low pressure. So some work is done on the wall also to open the wall, then the atmospheric air enters. So exactly at 1 bar pressure wall might not open. That's why when small work is done by the piston, so say 0.8 bar, if the pressure here becomes 0.8 bar, so this I can mark it as 0.8, an example value bar, then the valve opens, then 1 bar atmospheric air enters into the chamber or to the cylinder. Similarly, when compression is taking place, after compression this wall, so after compression this wall will be still closing the seat. So this will be still closing the seat. So at P2, exactly at P2, the valve need not to open. That's why we need to add little more pressure, P2 plus say some 0.1 bar. So the valve will get opened, so it will rise up. That pressure inside the chamber will gradually, whatever the height extra pressure what we have given, this extra pressure will gradually come down back to P2. So it will come back to P2, which is the tank pressure. So that means actual pressure is slightly different during valve operation. That's why this is actual PV diagram. This is the ideal case, and this is the actual case. This is for single acting, and this what I'm showing is for double acting, because single acting actual diagram I have already explained. And so here there is a small wavy nature here. This wavy nature is seen because the valve sometimes will bounce up and down, and that creates a wavy nature of the pressure curve during suction or during discharge. So now we will discuss about volumetric efficiency of the compressor. So this is similar to our IC engine concept. So it is nothing but the ratio of actual air taken to the actual capacity of the compressor. So volumetric efficiency eta volume can be written as, so actual air taken is nothing but the effective swept volume. Effective swept volume, that means, so what is the amount of volume, or till what space the piston can effectively suck the air into the chamber. So this is actual air taken in, that is called effective swept volume. But what was the maximum capacity of the compressor? So maximum capacity is this complete space what we see inside this whole chamber is its maximum capacity. So this volume is called piston displacement volume, but it takes only this small volume. So effective swept volume divided by piston displacement volume. So if I draw that in the PV diagram, if you can recall, so this is effective swept volume. That means only this much of air enters into the chamber. But actually what was the capacity of the cylinder? This is whole thing is capacity of the cylinder. So cylinder can take 1 meter cube of air, but because the air which is present in the clearance expands till here, till this region, the air what compressor takes is only this short length. This short length is effective swept volume. So this only this much volume is what air takes. So if I write this is out of 1 meter cube, if this is uh, say 0.2 meter cube, then 0.8 meter cube, roughly around 0.8 meter cube, it's a just rough value, you can just take it as 0.8 meter cube is the effective swept volume. So 0.8 by 1, if you write efficiency, volumetric efficiency is 80%. So as a rough calculation, if I write only 0.8 meter cube of air is sucked in with its total capacity of 1 meter cube, we will get 80% volumetric efficiency. So in terms of mass, if I can write this volumetric efficiency, it is the ratio of actual mass sucked to the maximum capacity of the compressor, or mass corresponding to the swept volume, or the mass corresponding to the swept volume. So then You might be having a question, sir, why this volumetric efficiency is not 100%? This I will ask in the Viva. You can expect this question. So why volumetric efficiency is not 100%? Because uh, because there are many factors, but main factors what we can discuss is the wall which is present here. These walls which are present here will have obstruction. They will affect on air intake, and because of the resistance offered by inlet wall to the incoming air, you cannot expect 100% suction. What actually happens, before air enters completely into this cylinder, the wall gets closed because of the spring action what is there in the wall. Before complete air enters inside the chamber, the wall will get closed, so there is a loss. Similarly, the temperature effects will reduce the volume of the cylinder, volume of the gas that enters into the cylinder, and then back pressure of the gases which are present in the clearance space. So this clearance space will have some back gases, and these gases, when it expands, because it is compressed by the piston, when piston moves backward, these gases expands, and there also we will see some loss in air intake. So this air intake space will get reduced. Because of that space which is reduced, we will have very less swept volume compared to the total volume. So thereby we will lose the volumetric efficiency of the compressor. So we cannot expect 100% efficiency. That means we cannot say that compressor has 1 meter cube space, it always takes 1 meter cube of air. So that concept is not possible in real applications. So keeping this in mind, we will derive equation for volumetric efficiency. So this is 1, 2, 3, and I will mark this as 4. So this is VC, that is clearance volume till here, and what is here is swept volume, and this is V1. So what we take this as V1. So this is from this distance. So this is V1. What we can write now, volumetric efficiency is equal to V1 minus Vs. So this is 0.8 what I have shown here. It's an example. It's an effective swept volume. So it's an effective swept volume. So effective swept volume is V1 minus Vs. This space, this starts from here, divided by V1 minus Vc. So V1 minus Vc. Vc is the maximum capacity of the cylinder. So till Vc. So 1 and Vc. So this much volume is its total capacity. That's what I have written here. V1 can be replaced with Vc plus Vs, Vc plus Vs minus V4. So what we have done here is, so is here this is not right. So this is Vs swept volume, and this is effective swept volume. So it is between 1 and 3. So V1 is summation of Vc plus Vs. So here if I write the graph, so this is Vc and this is Vs, that will reach to 0.1. This is V1. So Vc plus Vs, Vc plus Vs. Then again I will write Vc plus Vs minus Vc, and this gets cancelled. I can write this as Vc plus Vs minus V4 by Vs. In the next step, I will just modify the formula into Vc plus 1 minus V4 by Vs. This is also Vs, and I can write divide and multiply by Vc. So I will just shift this as 1 minus 1 minus I'll take this first, Vc by Vs minus of Vc by Vs into V4 by Vc, just rearranging these terms, Vc by Vs. So if I mark Vc by Vs as a constant k, so I will mark this as constant k, or it may be 1 plus c minus c into V4 by Vc. So where c is equal to Vc by Vs, so I can use c is equal to Vc by Vs, or you can use any constant k also you can use. So better follow one notation. We'll use 1 plus c minus c is equal c into Vc by V4 by Vc. So this is the equation for efficiency. So I will write that again. Final equation is here Vc is V3. That's why I will modify this equation as V4 by V3, which is equal to V4 by V3 is equal to P3 by P4 to the power 1 by n. So it is P2, it is same as P2 by P1 power 1 by n. So this is based on the law of expansion, that is PV power n is equal to constant. So now with the help of that I can modify this as this equation as 1 plus c minus c into P2 by P1 power 1 by n with respect to the pressure ratio. So this is an important equation to remember. So this is the final equation.